Hey, it's Kathy with Rock Your Retirement. And as promised, today's Friday, and so you'll be getting to listen to Henry Shapiro's Retired Excited. I know you're just going to love this as much as I do. And don't forget, you can still listen to Rock Your Retirement, where I'm the host, and those shows are released on Mondays.
Welcome to the Retired Excited podcast. Retired Excited, the show where we give retired and want to be retired folk a look at how great retired life can be. Here we talk to men and women who are happily retired and loving their life. We explore the techniques, activities, beliefs, and excitement of these happy retirees and examine how every Tom, Dick, and Mary can benefit from their experience. Together, we will delve into what retired happiness really looks like and how anyone can achieve it.
Here is your host, Henry Shapiro.
Hey folks, Henry here, Retired Excited, the show providing inspiration for people who are newly retired, or say they're never going to retire. If you're nearing retirement and fearful of what lies ahead, you don't need to be. If you're already retired and wondering how to fill your days, then this show is exactly for you. Here we talk to retired people doing things that make them happy. Things from stamp collecting to cruising, from dancing to touring the world on a motorbike. There's an exciting stage of life to be enjoyed after full-time work, and it's got nothing to do with your financial situation or social position. We talk to everyday retired people who are living the life they want, and we talk to a few professionals to get expert advice. And I chip in with some of my own experiences. Well, welcome everybody to episode number 15 of Retired Excited. Now, many of you, I think, would probably have thought about taking up the hobby of painting. My guest today was in business early in life together with her husband and took up painting, something that she'd always liked ever since she was at high school. She took it up later on, and she took it up with focus and with determination. The thing about Agnes is that she always was striving to be better, to learn how to perfect her technique, and to do that she sought out classes and mentors who could help her to continuously improve. I think in Japan they call that kaizen, the idea of continuous gradual improvement or gradual continuous improvement. In this interview we talk about what you need to start. If you think, I'd like to get into art, or I'd like to start painting, maybe drawing, whatever it may be, we talk about that and how you can actually break into that hobby, get into that hobby, what materials you would need, and where you might find some classes. And she goes into some depth, or we go into some depth, about how you can progress from being a beginner. She started as really an absolute beginner, went to classes, improved over a few years, and then from a student she transitioned to being a teacher. She taught art for a little while, and from there to having exhibitions and being involved in exhibitions, winning prizes in Australia and overseas, being hung in galleries internationally. Really an amazing progression through her hobby and through the art world in a very short time. From start to finish, maybe 12 years, or as she says, she was really learning for a couple of years. So she went from beginner to being internationally recognised in just a period of 10 years, really. At one stage in this interview, we go down a tangent or a side road. Agnes has been ill, and she treated herself with natural therapy. She's very interested in natural therapies, and in fact in the natural world. And we talk about that for a while because it's very dear to her heart, something that was important and important to her health, extraordinarily important to her health. I've started out by asking her what she was doing before she became interested in art.
Okay, I always was interested in art since I was a little girl. It runs into our family, but never had the privilege and opportunity to get into art till later on in my life.
And I think you said when we were off air that you started working in an art supply shop?
Yes, I worked in 3 art supplies. There was an interesting one that I worked, And I met a lot of quite well-known artists, which helped me to learn about art and also about the products that I was selling to them.
And in what way did it help you?
It helped me to know that art is beautiful and you can accomplish something and get in a world ahead with art, because, you know, with artists, they don't say, you know, they always starved.
Yes. That's the tradition, isn't it? To starve in a garret somewhere, yes. Yeah. So, okay, you're working away in the art supply store, but was that your first introduction to art, to painting?
No, I painted when I was in high school, and I really loved it. I was about 13, 14, and I really loved art, and my teacher told my dad to let me paint, and that because there's a big thing. You don't have to just paint. You can teach painting. There's a lot of other things that you can do with art. But, you know, it didn't work out that way, so I had to go to work.
So then you came back to it later on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, you said that the people who came in, you had to teach them probably, I don't know if that's the right word, teach them about the products, but also they helped you with your art.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Well, it was very important to learn about the products that I was selling. Most of the professional artists, they knew what they wanted and, you know, which is the best product. But the people that started to paint, they didn't know much about it. So I had to learn and put together a starter kit. Okay. You know, like watercolor or acrylics or oil or ink or charcoal, whatever you were interested in doing. So I had to know about it to explain to them, you know, otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be...
They wouldn't know where to start.
Exactly, yeah.
And what about, did you do any classes or how did you actually learn to do this?
You mean in a shop?
No, just generally. How did you learn how to paint?
To paint, I started in a community place only 12 years ago. Okay. And I wanted to accomplish something in my later years so that prove myself that I can do things. So I loved art, so I thought that there's always a starting point. So I went to a community house with a little brush, few art and a pad, and that was the beginning. And
when Agnes says that she wanted to learn how to do things, and we'll come to this later, you've won lots and lots of prizes, and your works have been displayed overseas at exhibitions, so in only 12 years you've come a very long way.
Yes, I think so. I never expected this because, you know, I just went in there because I loved art and I wanted to do it, you know, because I just was interested in it. But I don't know how I got discovered overseas and invited to exhibit in New York, in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles, and Italy, and all over the world, England, and all places like that. So I'm really privileged to be there.
Yeah. You had a teacher at the community house, and then you had some help from people who came into the shop. I always think that if you have a mentor, you can progress very much further. Is that what happened to you? Did they mentor you?
I had two very good teachers that I really, really think of them highly. There was one old teacher, he's in his 90s now, and I often see him and we compete together now. And I nearly win, but if he's there, there's no chance. Okay. But he always helped me a lot because he believed in me. He saw what I can do, and he always used to say, you can do better. So he was a bit hard on me, but I appreciated it now, and I understand why he did that.
Yeah, he pushed you along.
Yes.
Yes, that's terrific. I just think generally in life, if you've got a mentor, you can progress so much quicker. Otherwise, you've got to learn it all yourself. In this case, you can take advantage of his 20, 30 years of his experience.
I agree, yeah. He's been painting about 60 years.
Golly. So you get the benefit of all that experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's jump now to your paintings. Tell me a little bit about the paintings that you're doing at the moment.
Okay. I love watercolor. That is my top, medium. But what I wanted to do was to create something different, because people were stealing my ideas and, my paintings and copying. So I wanted to come up with something that no one could reproduce, even me. So I thought to do a city scene. I love the city of Melbourne and Sydney and Australia. So I thought if I start doing the city scenes, I came up with the idea to do the background either in oil, acrylic or watercolor, and do the city with silk, fabric, any kind of fabric, linen, ribbons, whatever I could find, different colors. So I create the whole city with cutting out little bits and pieces and making building the city with
like
that.
a collage.
Yes, you can say that.
Are they the ones which you have exhibited overseas?
Yes.
That style?
Yes, that is the one that I got recognition, and the reason was why, because no one does it in the world, and I think because I came up with the idea, it puts you up high. I never expected this, but that's how it just...
That's how it worked out.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So you're doing city scenes. When you were doing normal, if that's the right word, watercolors, what sort of topics were you doing?
Okay, I love doing everything. I love nature. Most of it I grow my own vegetables and fruit and things like that, and just the beauty of looking up and seeing the fruit and the sky through the branches and the shapes and the colors and all that. So I can create anything with leaves or branches or anything like that, still lifes. But also I like the wildlife. I like also landscapes and basically, anything.
Anything? Yeah. Here in your house, and listeners, we're in a beautiful house. It's a log cabin kind of a house, although it's much more sophisticated than that. The walls are all lined with timber and stain, and there's timber floors. So it's obviously that being close to nature and that style is important to you. Would you say that?
Yes, I think so. Not everyone would like the timber home, but I think it gives out the warmth. And I was really surprised that a lot of teenagers that came to see with my son, everyone loved it, and they were just fascinated by the shades and different kind of timber that is in the home.
Yes.
That creates the atmosphere that it is.
And I know you like aromatherapy.
Yes.
And those sorts of things. So things which are close to nature interest you, I think.
I love essential oils. I think in a few years' time it's going to come back, because a lot of the antibiotics and the medicines that the doctors are using, they're not working now. And I have studied, and I'm learning still, doing courses to learn about the way they treated people many years ago from Egypt and Rome and, Israel and all those ancient places, the manuscripts that they used with the essential oils. So I'm learning about how to use it. I love using it and with friends and all that stuff. So, I encourage everyone even to look into it.
I will come back to painting in a moment, folks, but I just want to delve into this a little bit further. Can aromatherapy and essential oils be used as a healing exercise?
Yes, I did. I had cancer 3 years ago, and I strongly believe in natural products. I refused all the treatments from the doctors, so I went actually, using all the natural things. There's few that you can ingest. There's few that you can inhale. There's few that you can rub on. So there's different ways of using it. They have to be certified, and they have to be known from where they come from. So it's not just any essential oils that you can go and use, because some of them could be toxic.
Yes.
So you have to be very careful about how to use them.
I first met Agnes at a dinner, actually, and you were very careful about what you were eating.
Yes.
Is that part of the therapy to help you with your cancer?
Yes. Thinking of it's very simple. If you just think what our grandparents had and our great-grandparents, what did they have? They never had any processed food or why this and why that.
Yes.
They just had the natural things, what was in season, everything fresh and organic. And I think it's simple, and I don't miss out on anything. A lot of people think, how can I? But I think, it's beautiful to eat whatever nature provides for us.
And what has happened with your cancer? So
yes, I'm quite good. The doctors want to see me every 6 months because they want to see if I'm alive. But I mean, they are very, very surprised how good I feel and how good I look.
Yes.
And how much strength I have, and I have a lot of passion for life, and I think I'll be here for quite a long time yet.
Of course. So let's get back to painting. This was supposed to be about painting, but I couldn't pass that by because I knew it's a passion of yours.
Yes, thank you.
When you think about painting and you think, all right, I want to do another painting, you might have finished one, you might have sold some. What's the process? How do you conceptualize, or what gives you the inspiration for the next one?
Yes, I think I will have so many things in my mind and in my heart to paint, and I'll never run out of things. I think I'll die taking some with me. But anything that you look around, just look outside with the flowers, with the bees, with anything that's out there, and I say how beautiful that is. You can create a painting just with one leaf. You can create a painting with an apple or say for a branch with different colors. And anything that you see, you should learn to look around and observe. And we haven't got time for that anymore. So if you take the time to look how many things are there, you'll never run out of ideas. Never.
You said an interesting thing there. You said things you see and things in your heart. Mm. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I think I always loved what's there for us out in nature. It's there for all of us, and it's free. All we need to take is the time and just to go and enjoy it with the families, with the grandkids, with the children, whatever, and just observe,
So when I say the heart, is emotion an issue in your paintings?
Yes.
And how does that resolve itself, or how does that? How do you bring that to your work?
I think it is a passion that I have. For example, you can do city scenes. You can do 1,000 city scenes, because even the same painting you can do, but if you look in 1 hour time, the whole atmosphere will change. When the sun's going down, when the sun's coming up, when it's hot, when it's cold, when it's steamy, when it's frosty, when all those atmospheric times, you just have to look. So you can create that, just to see. That's a beautiful sunset or sun morning that's coming up. So I think we just have to learn to appreciate and observe what's out there for us.
I'm working towards a very hard question.
Okay, all right.
Your paintings are, obviously, when you look at them, they're paintings, but some paintings are very realistic, very, very realistic. And that gets me to the point of, what is the difference between a photo and a painting? Okay,
this is what my art teacher taught me, and it was a very valuable lesson. We went because I used to exhibit with him in the same show. So one day he showed me how to judge a show and let me judge one on my own. And I said, that's very important for you. Now that you are known, you have to do this. So he took me in one art show and he said, look around. And he said, that one is from a photograph, that one is from a photograph, that one is. And I asked him, how do you know? And he said, it's easy because the photograph lies. And the photograph it's darker than that normal. So he said...
Do you mean darker in light and dark, or darker in emotion?
Emotion, both, because even with the light, you can see... with the photograph, it will just show you what it is. But actually, if you look outside, everything is brighter, everything is alive. And I think that was the very little secret, but it was a valuable one for me to learn. Even though I paint a lot from photographs, I learned how to do it to be alive.
To be alive. So the difference between a photo and a painting there's life in the painting.
Exactly.
Am I understanding that?
Yes. And it is with the tonal values of it that you have to create a painting. And I think the light will stay very light or white, to give it a shine.
Yeah.
And I think like that you can see it. It will create a painting by the shades.
So we've got some budding artists out there, and they think, I'm going to enter a competition. Tell us how you judge a competition.
Oh, that's a hard one. It's a hard one because
these are the hard questions.
I know. Well, when you judge a show, first of all, you probably know a lot of friends there, and you wouldn't show favoritism. You have to be very careful how you judge a show. There are sections. So what I do, I'll put them in sections, in still life, in landscapes, in oil, watercolor, what section there is, and you work from that. You observe that, and then you would choose 3. And you'd pick those 3 out, and you look around, and then you'd have to know why you chose those 3. And
so if one's a still life, and one's a landscape, and one's a portrait, how can you judge between those?
Okay, well, they will be in different sections.
Okay, so the judging is in sections.
Yes, so unless if the whole show you can put anything in, but usually there are sections. If there's portraits and, there would be all people will judge us as a portrait section or landscape section or still life.
Okay.
So they wouldn't be classed as a same group.
So are you judging on the feeling that the painting evokes, or are you judging on technique of the painter? What's the important thing in the judging?
I think all of them are, because, you have to, it's a composition. It has to be. It's also about the life, the realistic thing, how it is, and the colors, how they coordinated, and if it has life in it or not, if it's a wow factor, you can see it. If there's a painting and it stands out, you can't go wrong. You can't miss it. It shows you that it is alive. So you'll know.
You'll know.
Yes.
I'm going to swap channels again now to something completely different. For people who are starting painting, they've retired, they think, oh, that'd be a good thing. How would they go about it? What should they do? Okay.
There are first of all, they probably need to find somewhere to go, because
to go to learn. You mean?
Yes, to go. There's a lot of places that for beginners. There's community places. There's art classes, and also a lot of people don't know what medium to start. You might like oil. You might like watercolor. So I think that you should have a go with everything. Like start with one, watercolor or pastel or whatever you have a passion for. Try it. And if you think it's not for you, you can try something different. And you'd find out that by doing these things, you will find out what you really love to do and what works for you. Like with the oils, you'd have to have the brush marks, in it. With watercolor, you have to not have the brush marks. Right. You have to learn how to do it with the water. Yes. So, it depends what you want. Some people, they are allergic to the oils. Okay. And in the watercolor, that doesn't have that. So, and it's also not as messy. So the oil needs to dry. The watercolor, dries quicker. Yes. So it's up to the individual, what do they have an idea of why they want to start different things and what they want to do. And I think I tried all mediums, everything possible you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And I still love watercolor the best. It is the hardest medium to learn. A lot of people don't know that. But once if you can master watercolor, you can do anything, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, you know now.
Now I know.
Yeah. Yes.
So, all right, now I've started painting or pastels or drawing or whatever it might be, and I'm getting a little bit better. Uh-huh. How do I move? What's the next move up, if I put it that way?
Well, if you like it and if you're really interested.
I love it. Let's say I love it.
Okay, you love it and
yes.
You're proud of your little painting. Yeah. You can frame it and you can enter art shows.
Right.
There's a lot around. There's Rotary clubs. There's private little art shows. There's a lot of shows. You just have to Google it. I was
going to say, how do you find out about them?
Yeah, well, if you go, say, for example, the Rotary Club, they'll have a show every year. Okay. Everywhere, all of them. That's a start. But even locally, if you just inquire, there's always shows around where you live. You can enter them You know, doesn't matter if you don't sell or don't win. It doesn't really matter. No. But people looked at it.
Yes.
You know, and people always, somebody will love your painting. Yes. People won't like it, but somebody will really love your painting. But the important thing is if you love it, you know, doesn't matter what other people think. Art is art. So
I'm just going to go down the commercial road for a moment. I know starving artists don't have that one. All right, so you're painting at a show, a Rotary Club show, and most of them have got a price on them. Mm-hmm. How do you work out what the price is going to be?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Okay. So say, for example, you have a little painting and you need to frame it. So you put the frame into consideration. Mm-hmm. So usually triple that.
Triple the framing price.
Yes. So say there's a frame, then there's the material that you use, and then there's the entry fee. Yes. In the show. So you actually put the 3-time price on, you triple it.
So my frame was worth $50.
Yeah.
Oh, 300.
300. Say it's 300. You're painting 300. You can put it 800, 700. If you think it's a really great painting and you think that it deserves more, if you win prizes with it, you can put it in another show and put the prize even more than that.
I see.
So that's how it works around.
That's the common thing in the industry, if I put it that way.
Yeah.
You have a look at, well, this is for people who are starting out. I'm not talking about your pro hearts, but
no, exactly.
Your framing plus all your costs.
Yeah.
And triple it.
That's exactly right. So you start at that. And if you see, you know, like you can always come down with the price. Mm-hmm. You can never go up.
Do people bargain with you?
Yes, sometimes. But I mean, if you put a painting 300 and then, you put it 600, you know, people will think it's strange. But in some shows, in some areas that it's a high profile area, of course they have more money, so you would probably price it a little bit more because the entry fees would be higher, the hiring of the hall and the percentage that they take out. The shows that, say, for example, some of them take 20%, some of them take 35% out. So you have to consider that.
And you include that in your cost?
Yes, exactly. So that would be in that cost because, you know, otherwise we won't get anything. We'd be losing.
So then it seems to me the next move up, you've done the Rotary and you've done the local shows, is to have your own exhibition. Yes. And that would be really exciting.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Okay, well, you have a plan. So what do you desire? You know, I fell in love with Montsalvat. I don't know if a lot of people know about Montsalvat. It's an art colony. It's the oldest one in Eltham. Mm-hmm. So I went over there and I fell in love with it. I spent 2 days photographing every little crevice and corner. And I decided to have an exhibition all about Montsalvat. So what I called it the Treasures of Montsalvat, but it took me 2 years to paint 70 paintings, all on subject of Montsalvat. I did windows, doors, I did whatever I could imagine, every building, peacocks, whatever was there. And I really wanted to show people that you can paint only on one subject in so many different things that are there. And I could still paint till I die if I stayed there and just painted, but I need to do different things as well.
So where did you show the paintings?
At Montsalvat.
At Montsalvat.
Yes.
And tell me how you arrange a showing. How does that happen?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a bit difficult because I approached them with my idea. You have to submit it. So they gave me a little bit hard time, but I said, no, I'm going to persist. They didn't think that I will be able to advertise it, but I managed to go and see every newspaper around there, 7 of them, and convince them to advertise for me. So they did. And with the invitation, I was really privileged that a lot of people came, but also I was privileged to have an art critic, an art historian that came there, and he was very, very impressed. So he invited me to his class twice in a city to teach his students, and I thought that was a very big privilege.
So now you were teaching then? You've gone from being a student to being a teacher?
Oh yeah, I taught for a couple of years before I got sick, so I love teaching people, art.
And I believe that in teaching, you learn more yourself, don't you?
Yes, because everyone, sees through their eyes differently than you do. So if I set up a still life there's 20 students, everyone, it's the same subject, but everyone will see it differently.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's a beautiful thing, how they will interpret art. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can put different colors, you can put different, different angles when you depends where you sit.
Yes.
So the same still life will be in 20 different expressions or interpretations. Yes.
So you had were you the only person showing? It was just your work?
No, I had a guy that he was interested in it, so he did. It was a combined exhibition there. Because he introduced me to that, and I thought that it would be unfair if I didn't include him in it, because I never had the time to go to Montsalvat, but he insisted for me to see with the students, with the art group. So I thought that, I would include him.
Yes.
So we had like one
joint exhibition.
Joint exhibition. One side was mine and the other side was his.
Did your paintings sell?
Most of them. I won few of them. I entered after the exhibition. I entered in shows, and some of them I won prizes, and they kept the paintings. So I haven't got many left. A couple of them are in Las Vegas in the museum. They kept it there because they said that they want to permanently keep it there. I had an exhibition in Las Vegas, so they thought the windows are just gorgeous. So it's there.
It's amazing. The progression. It's only 12 years.
Yeah. But the first 2 years I was studying and learning and working. So it's
10 years.
Yeah, I know. That anyone can...
you could say it's a meteoric rise in art terms. Some people are painting all their lives.
Yes.
They don't reach this.
I think you have to be passionate about it. And a lot of people go in there just for the money, and they are disappointed. I think, and it's hard if you can't afford, you need to live. But if you go there because you're passionate about it and don't look that side of it, it will happen, one day. I'm doing it as a hobby, which is a very successful hobby, and I'm privileged that I can do it. But I must say that when I was working 2 jobs, I did this at night with lights from a photograph. So, I wanted to learn. So the thing is, why I'm saying this is that anything is possible. You just have to believe in yourself and never say that you can't do it. Always have a go and just give it a go. See if it is. If it doesn't work out, try something different. Our life doesn't stop just because we get to 60 or 70. The most famous arts with Ford and other places, they started in the 60s, 70s, their new business, and they were successful in history. So we can do it too.
That is the perfect place to stop. Thank you very much. I was going to ask you what's your advice to people, and that was the advice. That was perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Don't give up. Keep going.
Yes.
Have a go. That's your advice. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
I guess you understand now why I called Agnes focused. She always had a burning desire to learn and to improve what she was doing. She sought out mentors to help her with that, and she's really impressive in that respect. She recommends that people who would like the idea of painting and creativity in general try all the mediums. So it might be pastel, it might be charcoal, watercolors, oil paints, even sculpture, and see what suits them, what suits their style, what suits the subject that they're interested in. Don't get locked into one thing at the start, but give it all a go, and you'll find your niche within the whole gamut of the hobby of art and painting. I think she says that it's her passion and her love for the natural world that drives her. That's really what's behind her success. Now, if you'd like to follow up this whole world of art, you can find any number of courses on the internet. Just Google art classes, that'll take you there. And as always, I would really like you to say what you think about the hobby, about Agnes, in the reply box at the bottom of this interview on the net. That's at retiredexcited.com. If you're already an artist, tell us a little bit about how you broke into that world, how you developed skills, and what you recommend to other people. If you'd like to learn more about Agnes, or talk to her, or have a look at some more of her work, go to her website. It's at www.agili.com.au. So once again, www.agili.com.au. You'll find her email on the site there. If you want to contact me, just email me at henry@retiredexcited.com. Once again, that's it for today. Stay healthy, stay well. I'll see you next week. Bye now.
I like that.
I'm going to give that a go for sure.
Ian, that was terrific.
That was interesting.